Welcome back to episode 3 of Boats and Snow. Oh, and we got a full on ass episode for this one. We had a lot of stuff go down in the past week. The World Surf League finally kicked off. We had an event over in Louisiana. So the long jumpers and the skiers had a few wakeboarding events and a lot of shit coming up. Summer is kicking off right now, and it's actually the first day of summer right now. So you know what? Let's get into it. Come on.
Powered by Riverside.
All right. We're going to start it off where this past Wednesday we finally got the call that we've been waiting on. Just like I told you, because your boy's a genius. Like I said it would happen. And Surf City, El Salvador kicked it off. And we're going to start with the women's, just like they did. And let me tell you, there was 8 heats of the women's. Heat 1, boom. Lakey Peterson was absolutely dominant. And you could tell from the jump, she was feeling good. She's about to put together, some pretty sick waves. And she delivered. She won Heat 1 easily. So you win Heat 1, you go straight to the quarters. She took down Tatiana Webb in this heat as well. So she sent Tatiana to the elimination round. There's 3 people in each heat. 2 go to the elimination round. 1 goes to the quarters. Straight to the quarters. And that proved huge for Lakey. And Heat 2, we had a wild card playing. Tia Blanco, who was she put together some great, outstanding waves. She looked very good out there. Looks as well. She looked good with her looks too. But she also had world number 1 in her heat, Carissa Moore. And when you watch Carissa Moore surf, there's a reason she's number 1. Let me tell you. She just looks and moves a little different. So quick, beautiful turns. It's truly amazing and pretty unbelievable to watch. Can't wait to see it live in person. It's like a Picasso on the waves. She's like a little Bob Ross with the paintbrush. It's amazing. But, there's a third person in the heat. Courtney Conalog. And let me tell you, looking back, this heat was tough. But she was looking real good. And then at the very end, Courtney caught the wave that she needed, made the most out of it, and won the heat. So Courtney took Heat 2, sent Tia Blanco and Carissa Moore to the elimination round. So the world number 1 did not win her heat, went to the elimination round. Heat 3 had Brissa Hennessy. They call her the tour chef. And so I can only imagine what kind of great food she's whipping up on tour. But man, you want to be the one rooming with Brissa if she's whipping it up in the kitchen. And she actually got off to the start of the heat very good wave. And at the end had a very great chance to take the heat. But she couldn't stand it up at the very end. But either way, she was amazing out there. Hope she's just getting everybody fed out there, just cook with the best of meals. And so I'm proud of her for that. Isabella Nichols was also in this heat. And this is where you started to see, because we're only 6-7 surfers in, but you could see how. So Isabella normally surfs on the point break, And so you could tell how she had like a little bit of an early advantage. So it was playing for her. She was real consistent in her scores. She was catching wave after wave. It was amazing. She just couldn't put the runs together to get the real high score, and that led to somebody making a big adjustment, and that's Caroline Marks. Nearing the end of the heat, hits 2 huge turns, gets the score she needed to close the heat on top, sending Caroline to the quarters. So good for her. It was awesome. And last heat for the women, since they only had 12 surfers, heat 4. And this one was a solid lineup. Stoked to watch this one. Stoked. Sally Fitzgibbon on her first wave. Way down the point. Beautiful. Nailed it. Opened the heat with a 6.67. Come on. Hey, and then Sally Fitz, she started going for the air reverses. And she's out there having a blast, living her best life. And I was hoping, man, she was gonna nail one of them reverses, and she just didn't pull one off. And then they also had Joanna Defay in this one, who I'm truly rooting for. Love the French woman. Think she's amazing. And then Stephanie Gilmore, who just couldn't catch any good waves during the heat. She ended up getting last in the heat. Remember that? But don't forget the name. And don't you count out a 7-time world champion, okay? But DeVay caught a good final wave late. But it just wasn't going to be enough to catch what Fitzgibbons was out there trying to do air reverses. You know she's winning the heat. And so she moved on to the quarters as well. And the rest were headed to the elimination round. And now we're going to keep going with the women's, even though they technically ran the men's, the men's opening round, opening heats after the women's. But to stay in order, we're just going to cover the women's. Then I'll hit you with the men's because it was all amazing to watch. If you didn't watch it live on the website, it was a good thing. I mean, not a good thing, but I'll tell you about it because it's coming up in Brazil this coming up week. So get ready. Shit, you know what I meant. Okay, on the elimination rounds. And man, we had some matchups that didn't want to go home. And you can't blame them. Who wants to go home? You know? Heat 1, right out the gate. Carissa Moore, Tia Blanco. Again, Tia was here with the wild card play. Got off to a pretty solid start. And even after their first wave, Tia was only 1 point behind Carissa, so probably gave her a little confidence, got her a little hyped up. But Carissa Moore had priority coming up, and she put together a wave that kind of put it out of reach, She nailed the turns, and then a huge last turn gave her a wave score of 7.33. And then she had another amazing run, gave her an 8, and it was just, Tia was a little outmatched here. Carissa was not about to get eliminated in the elimination round. She's going to the quarters. So, she just caught her at a savage time, really. And then in Heat 2, had my girl, Joanna Defay versus Gabriella Bryan. And Gabby came out early and threw it down in this elimination round. Threw it down. Amazing time. It nailed every turn. Early score of a 7.67. But Joanna answered immediately. Threw together a solid 6. And then the two just sort of went back and forth. Amazing heat for the elimination round. No doubt. But then my girl Joanna, she put together a final run. Amazing timing. Wave priority. And then she had wave priority and basically just used her wave priority and kind of closed out the match. And it moved on to the quarters. But it was well played strategically and, and great surfing all at the same time. So give it to Joanna. And Gabriella, give it to her too. She came out, she surfed her ass off. Then Heat 3, we had Caroline Marks versus Brissa Hennessy. Now, unfortunately, coming into this, here's the story. Coming in and out of the ocean here at Punta Roca, Surf City, El Salvador, there was rocks everywhere. Not like some sand. You walk out the beach and you're on some damn sand. No, there's rocks. And in between the rocks, they got a little shit that's going to cut you. And so, unfortunately, Brissa, after her opening heat, coming out of the rocks, or might have been open heat, a practice round, I think, cut her foot open doing a rock dance. So she had to get 8 stitches in her foot before the heat. And then luckily a friend, I forget who it was, came through. So one of her friends came through with a booty. And she was able to at least, put it on and still get out there and surf. But she still put together some amazing runs. She was still able to put precise turns on it. And, honestly, and here's my opinion again. At one point, when Brissa had priority on the wave, I thought Caroline might have gotten in her way a little bit. Look, don't judge me. I'm just saying. I thought she might have gotten her way a little bit. But regardless, Caroline was out there she was surfing her ass off. So, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal probably, but she had a small lead, but then she just threw down a solid 7:07 to extend the lead, and Brissa just couldn't quite catch up to her. But hey, hope Brissa gets to feeling better. Hope she gets them stitches out and everything's good, safe, clean. Because, maybe that salt water helped her heal up a little bit faster. So that's good. And then Heat 4 in the elimination round still, we had Stephanie Gilmore versus Tatiana Webb. And this is when the swells started kind of like picking up, throwing out some banger waves. And Stephanie Gilmore, she took full advantage of that, And then, I wanted Tatiana to bang it out with her, but she just couldn't get it going. She couldn't find the right wave to help her out. And Stephanie was just riding like a previous champion would ride. So there was really nothing. She just got caught. Stephanie wasn't going down. She's going to the quarters. Fourth waves, put it all together. Put it out of reach with an 8.73 to advance her to the quarterfinals where we're headed now. And man, it starts getting hot. Heat 1 of the quarters. Joe, my girl. Joanna DeFay versus Sally Fitzgibbons. And after Sally was throwing it down in the opening heats, I was kind of nervous. And Joanna, though, she started off her second wave. She had an amazing run, very balanced, tight turns, really, yanking. She's yanking on them waves. The French lady was out there getting it, landing a 7.83 run. But old Sally Fitz ain't going down without a fight, and she gonna make old Joanna earn it. But at the end, Sally, it wasn't the same day. She put together a couple fives, but I mean, Joanna was out there throwing it down. That's just simple. I mean, towards the end, she pulls another 7+, and she advanced to the semifinals, with a 15-6 total, which is solid. Heat 2 of the quarters, we had Lakey Peterson versus Courtney Conalog. And this one was a banger. This throwing it down. It came down to the final 4 waves from each one of them. And this was started with, it's like during these quarters, the waves weren't real good. And they really were coming down at this point. So they didn't ride they weren't riding a whole lot of waves. But it wasn't until Lakey's 6th wave that she got over a 5. And then right before that, Courtney had just thrown down a 6. And then Courtney backed up her 6 with another 6. So, I mean, it was looking like damn near impossible for Lakey to catch her with not a lot of time left. But let me tell you, don't you count out Lakey Peterson, because let me tell you, Mother Nature helped a little bit here. God threw her the wave, and woo, did she capitalize. There was 10 seconds left when she got up on the final wave. She needed a 7:06 for take the lead and advance to the semis. And what did Lakey Peterson do? Throws down a 7:4 with the buzzer blaring in the back. She's whipping ass. Throws down a 7:4. And Mother Nature said, "Go on with your bad self." And then she rock danced perfectly out of the water. I mean, it was the greatest thing of the day. No doubt about it. It was amazing. Big shout out to Lakey Peterson for that quarter dub. And that's what gets you stoked up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then Heat 3, we had Carissa Moore versus Caroline Marks. And this is when it started getting slow. Not a whole lot of waves offered for either surfer. There was a total of 7 waves ridden in the whole 35 minutes. And unfortunately for world number 1, Carissa, she wasn't really on the receiving end of those. But you got to give all credit to Caroline Marks. You know, she rode her first 2 waves to perfection, and that was all she needed. She had a couple 7+ scores immediately, and that was plenty to get her over the world number 1 and into the semis. So props to Caroline Marks. Solid surfing. See you in Brazil. Heat 4, Stephanie Gilmore versus Isabella Nichols. Again, like I said before, same issues. Waves just not tough. Again, same thing with this heat. 7 waves total. But let me tell you, Gilmore made the absolute most out of her 4 waves. Truly amazing. Deserving. Threw down a couple 8+s. Surfing was precise. Turns were immaculate. And it took her, that advanced her to the much deserved semifinals. Yet again. And then that brings us to the semis, where it got popping. First, Heat 1 in the semis, we had Lakey Peterson and Joanna Defay, the French beauty. But still, you know, they were riding. Don't get me wrong, they were riding solid. You know, 7 waves, 6 waves. But Joanna she couldn't throw them together in the semis, and Lakey had 2 pretty good scores. She had a 6.5. She had a few 6s, but a 6.5 and a 6.2, and you know, Joanna just could not catch up to her. And with a 4 and a 5, I mean, she put together a 9.67, but just not enough. But hey, Joanna Defay, solid event. Can't ask for too much more. You know, just couldn't close out that last little bit. And then Heat 2 had Stephanie Gilmore and Caroline Marks, and the surfing from Stephanie Gilmore just absolutely continued. 12 total waves in the heat. Wind conditions calm. We had 4 to 6 foot waves, and Stephanie just threw it down yet again. A 7.5 on her third, a 7 on her fourth, and that was all she needed. And Caroline just could not get it going in this round. I mean, she had a 6.17 to start, and then a 3.67 on her second wave, and did not top that after And so it's pretty, she just couldn't get it going, and that's tough. That's tough out there in this time. But again, Stephanie Gilmore surging after coming out of the elimination round. Unbelievable. And that takes us to the final, which was Stephanie Gilmore and Lakey Peterson. And let me tell you, it was a battle. A battle. Lakey Peterson rode 7 waves. She had a total 10, 6, 7. She had 2 solid runs late. Again, she just couldn't get anything rolling. And she had a 6, 6, 7. Thought, okay, get one more of those or a little bit more, and we got a match. But hey, Stephanie Gilmore on 2 waves, throws together 13 points. She had a 7.33 solid run and then matched it up with a 5.67, and that's all she needed. And that was all she wrote. Stephanie Gilmore takes the championship down in Punta Roca. And let me tell you, I was happy for her. That she deserved it. It was amazing. And but hey, so shout out to Stephanie Gilmore. Awesome job. Can't wait to see you in Brazil. Lakey, also amazing. Can't wait to see you bounce back. Go for it. Throw it down. But for Stephanie to come out of that elimination round and then, and Lakey to catch that way. The way they got there is unbelievable. The wave in 10 seconds left? Come on. Come on. Hey, but I do have something. I got a question for all the surf fans. How come the people that surf from Hawaii surf under Hawaii? If there ever is a surfer that makes it from Texas, I hope they can surf under Texas. I think that would be badass. I think that would be awesome. But, hey, whatever. None of my business, really. But, so congrats, Stephanie. Amazing. Now, we're going to move on to the men's, where it was amazing. Little controversial here and there, according to the Instagram. We'll get into that. But Heat 1, Ethan Ewing, Jordy Smith, Diego Dora, and wow. Ethan Ewing he came out solid second wave. 6.5. Was looking good because I mean these dudes had three people. They had 25 waves. They're riding a shit ton of waves. But the scores are just, it's moving slow. Nobody's really throwing it down. 6.5. Jordy had a 5.83 on his third, and then not a lot going on. But Yago was able to put together a 5.27 late, right after my man Ethan threw down a 7.5, and so he's at 14, thinking he's got this in the bag. Yago said, "Not today." On his 9th wave, throws down a 9, and it is nasty. Full 360. Nailed it. Big reverse air. I mean, he had one hand up, catch with the left. It was unbelievable. And then, and that was, I mean, the man it looked like he was upside down. It was quite frankly. It was amazing. Hey, but Jordy Smith had a solid tail slide, he had some great runs as well, but he just didn't quite pull it off. Didn't really give him a lot. Moving on to Heat 2. So Ethan Ewing, Yago Dora advanced in that one, sending Ethan Ewing and Jordy Smith to the elimination rounds, and Yago straight to the quarters. Moving on to Heat 2, which was a good one. It was a good one. Kanoa Igarashi was able to squeak it out by Connor O'Leary. Again, great runs. O'Leary and Munoz. I mean, really, none of them. They all. I mean, it took one good wave and you won the heat, But no one could really throw it together. 15 waves total were ridden. One good wave, the whole heat changes, and that's tough for Carlos Munoz, who's turned in a 3.27. But I mean, he only rode 3 waves. He throws in one solid 9. He's winning. He won. So tough there, but Kanoa Igarashi squeaked it out by 0.67 points to go on to the quarters in the round of 16. Wait, is that right? No, round of 16. They got an extra round in the men's. My bad. Round of 16. That's my bad. Don't get mad at me. But hey, Heat 3 and the man Jack Robinson going huge. Huge. Nails a reverse air. Gave him a 5.67 about midway through. Then he hits a solid spin. In this opening section, added with a couple solid, precise, accurate turns, turning him in a 7, and that was just it was too much for the field to handle. Josh Burke and Samuel Pupo couldn't catch him, especially after that 7. But shoot, they rode a lot of waves, 29 total waves in that heat. But old Jack, he threw it down. He threw it down big. Hey, Burke landed a big air pretty late to give him that 5.33 to make it interesting, So he was one more solid wave away from, and he rode 4 waves after that. He was a solid wave away from taking it, but just couldn't get the right wave. So Jack Robinson advanced to the round of 16, sending Burke and Pupo to the elimination round. And then in Heat 4, let me tell you, brings out the big gun. Felipe Toledo, Nat Young, and the local boy, Brian Perez. And let me tell you, Felipe Toledo is number 1 for a reason. He's unbelievable. He's just dominant. And this was about the time the wind and the tide started changing, throwing in some solid waves. Real solid waves. But Felipe just rides. He's so fast and doesn't miss. He don't miss. His first wave sucked, but let me tell you, after that, the guy don't miss. He rode 5 waves. If you even count the first one. Really, he rode 4 waves. Threw down a 7.33, a 6.5, 13.83, advancing. But don't count out Brian Local. They say he's probably the best ever to come out of Surf City down there in El Salvador. Or not Surf City, just to come out of El Salvador. The whole place. Not Surf City, El Salvador. And shout out to Brian Perez. And shout out to Hurley. Hurley's putting a sticker on his board, and we're going to see the man again. He ain't going nowhere. He's going nowhere. Solid runs. Nat Young, hey, he put together some solid runs too. Had some great turns. Had a quiet 10.66 total, but that's because he had Felipe Toledo in the group, just looking like Superman surfing over the waves. Like, I don't even think he hit a wave one time, and he was flying in the air. Like the wind took him up, like Superman. But moving on to Heat 5, because hey, Felipe advanced, in case you were wondering. Heat 5, we had Italo Ferreira, Jackson Baker, and Kaloe Andino. And this was a close one. Real close heat. Italo nailed some big air late, but Jackson Baker's first 2 waves were just enough to give him the edge and take the win in the heat. Kaloe Andino, 10 waves. He couldn't really get it going. He had a 3.93 early and then had a decent run late, but he couldn't replace all the early scores, with enough. He didn't have enough time. 5.57. It was good, though. Jackson Baker, though, 2 clean runs. And Ito had a chance on that last wave, but he just couldn't find the opening to pull. And he was trying. He was going to try to go for another big air, but he couldn't find an opening. And at Jackson Baker advanced to the round of 16, sending Italo and Andino to the elimination round. And then moving on to Heat 6. Woo, buddy. Heat 6. Woo, buddy. Kyle Belly, Jake Marshall, and Griffin Colapinto. Colapinto, he just during this heat, he just couldn't get it going. I mean, I say that every now and then about a lot of these, but he couldn't. He had a 3.27 on his second wave, and then a 6.33, and that's all he got. He rode 3 waves after that for no more than 2 points. Cowie Belly rode 3 waves and put down a 12 spot to take it. I mean, that's pretty amazing right there, if you ask me. And moving on to Heat 7. It was a good one. And welcoming back Gabriel Medina to the to the CT. And let me tell you, the man ain't missed a beat. He has not missed a beat. You had Gabriel, Jadson Andre, Callum Robson, who couldn't really get any good waves. He only rode 5 compared to these other 2 dudes who weren't messing around. A wave was there, boom, they're on it. See ya, surfing. Gabriel, shit. That's tough for me for some reason. Gabriel Medina, I mean, first wave out the gate, throws down a high 6. Like the man put on some muscle. He's looking good. And then he throws down a 5.33 on his 4th run. So it gives him damn near 12 points. And we're about halfway. We're not even halfway through the heat. The man's sitting at 12. Although, hey, give it to Jadson Andre. He was catching waves. He was going for it. He was giving it his all. No doubt about it. He was looking good. And this, you kind of start seeing right here, like on this point break, these goofy footers had a little bit of advantage. Jadson Andre riding goofy. And you didn't really see that with Iago in the morning, but it changed. I think something changed in the water. Now the goofy footers got a little bit of advantage. But like I said, Gabriel Medina has not missed a beat. The man can straight up surf, hanging 10. 14.5 points, advances him to the round of 16. And in the final heat, we had Miguel Pupo, Baron Mamiya, and Matthew McGillivray. And Pupo had some good runs. I thought he could have maybe scored a little higher on a few of them. I mean, the 2 that he scored. But those were his only 2 good runs. But hey, that's all you need. The rest, he didn't get over 2.9 on every other wave. He rode 8 waves, and 2 were solid. The rest weren't over 2.9. But that doesn't matter because all you need is 2 good scores. And but Pupo threw those 2 together and made it a good match. McGillivray tinkered with it. Again, had 2 good runs early, 5.17, 5.77. Couldn't find anything after that. But let me tell you about this dude, Baron Mamiya, 22 years old. They call him the Prodigy. And this guy was a sleeper. He was a sleeper coming in. Again, surfing out of Hawaii. He's got surfing out of Hawaii. He's got the flag, not the American flag. He's got the Hawaiian flag. Surfing out of Hawaii. And this dude, they say he's a sleeper, but he ain't a sleeper. There's a reason they say he's the Prodigy. The guy was surfing his ass off all weekend. So Baron Mamiya threw down some solid. He started with a 5.83 first wave, and then it was, tinkering. But then you see him come out on the 7th wave and really throw it down. 7.67 to give him a total of 13.5. Take him to the round of 16 where he belonged. And we're gonna skip over the elimination round. If you want to check out the elimination round for the men, go to worldsurfleague.com. At the top, the easiest thing to do is click back arrow one time where the schedule's at. Click on Surf City El Salvador, and you can actually watch each heat if you'd like. Some of them you can even go and analyze. You don't have to watch the whole heat. It'll tell you like the time in the video where they caught what wave and whatnot. So that's a solid thing to have. But so we're gonna skip over to we're gonna skip to the quarterfinals, because let me tell you, they had a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot of waves, man. A lot of surfers in the dudes division. The women, that's easy to cover, dude, because you see, they only got 12 after elimination round. I think they should expand the women's entries. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense, but I want it to make sense. Because the women, obviously, they're not Felipe Toledo out there. But if Sally Fitzgibbon's throwing down reverse airs like anybody else, why aren't there as many women? I think they should open it up. I enjoyed, from somebody that doesn't watch a lot of surfing, and you would be trying to attract, I guess, more people like me to get into the sport. The women were just as fun to watch as the guys. Well, all the guys but one, Felipe Toledo. But man, let me tell you. Sorry. Enough. Moving on to the quarters. Heat 1, Jack Robinson versus Gabriel Medina. Woo! This is what we are here for. Gabriel, it's like he just is dominant. He's a man. He gets out there and surfs. But luckily, they only had 10 waves ridden in the whole heat. Jack just couldn't catch a good break. He had a 5.5 on his second, and that was it. Literally. His second wave score was a 1. And he still could have possibly won because Gabriel didn't get solid. He didn't have a wave. He didn't have him beat until his final 2 waves. But his final 2 waves, There's a reason the guy's back. 6-3-3 and a 6-1-7, 12-5, taking him to the semifinals. Dude's surfing. Can't wait to see Gabriel in Brazil. I know he's gonna be throwing it down. You know it. Then moving on to Heat 2, we had Kanoa Igarashi versus Griffin Colapinto out of San Clemente, California, who threw it. This was a heat right here. This was a match. If I recommend everybody to go back and go to the WorldSurfLeague.com website, go to the quarterfinals, Heat 2, and watch Heat replay. Griffin throws down an 8.5 and a 9.1 to give him 17.6. And Kanoa Igarashi had 5 runs out of 8 waves over 6 points. Say that dude wasn't surfing. 7.33 and an 8.87 gave him 16.2, and it just wasn't enough to catch Griffin. But man, what a heat it was. Kanoa ended up 5th place. So that's, he's still getting some good points there to go towards the top 5 finals. But shout out to him. But shout out to Colapinto, man. He survived that one with some bangers. Some absolute bangers. And then moving on to Heat 3. Again, sorry, Callum Robson, but you had to deal with the man. Number 1, Felipe Toledo. And he immediately just throws down an 8.17 and an 8.50. Puts it out of reach. You're not catching him. He's screaming, home it! Marshawn Lynch style, Nobody's getting him. Moving on to Heat 4, the final heat of the quarters, Ethan Ewing versus Italo Ferreira. And let me tell you, this was another heat that I recommend going back, hitting watch Heat replay, because these two dudes threw it down. After wave 1, you thought Ethan Ewing's got this in the bag. It was 6. Italo put up a 6. Ethan threw it down at 8.6. But then wave 2 comes. Ethan don't really get a score. Italo throws down at 8.8. So then you're like, ain't no way Ethan Ewing's coming back. Bullshit. Wave 3. Ethan throws down a 7.5, getting him a total of 16.10 because with his 8.6. And you're like, that's a wrap. But no, it's not a wrap. Why? Because Italo is Brazilian and they don't quit. Final wave is 5th wave, throws down an 8.67, going with his 8.8 to give him 17.47, taking him to the semifinals, putting Ethan in 5th place. And man, oh man, we move into the semis, and what a time it was. And this is when it started to get controversial. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Heat 1, it got heated. Griffin Colapinto versus Gabriel Medina, and it was heated. Woo! Go back and watch this replay too. Griffin throws down on each of their third waves. Griffin throws down an 8 and an 8.5. Gabriel throws down a 5.5. Okay? And then they're surfing along. They get to wave 6. Gabriel throws down a 7.67. And on wave 7, Griffin don't really need much. He needs like 0.3 or something over his 4.5 from wave 2. Throws down a 4.8. But this is where the controversy, Gordon, I'm just going off Instagram. Don't shoot the messenger. That 7th wave for Gabriel was solid, I thought. I thought it was a solid wave, worthy of a 6. I personally thought the wave was worthy of a 6. Judges give him a 5.3 when he needed he needed like a 5.62, a 5.67. Gave him a 5.3, eliminating him out of from the event. Griffin Colapinto going to the finals, and man, I'm telling you, go back and watch the heat, and go to wave 7 for both riders, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. But hey, it's to each their own. That's why they're judges. I'd hate to be a judge in any sport. Hate to be a referee. Hate to be an umpire. But that's why we got them. And you got to have them. But Heat 2 in the semis, Felipe Toledo versus Italo Ferreira. And again, amazing runs by both. Italo was giving it his all. He surfed 11 waves. 16 total in the heat. He surfed 11. Had a 6.77 early. But I mean, on wave, Felipe was throwing it down. He had a 4.33, a 5, and then went 7.4 and 9.7. He surfed his 5th wave for shits and gigs and threw down a 6.57. And it was just, I mean, still, but Italo, hey, get ready for Brazil because it's going to be on. Italo still threw down a total of 13.2. You know? So, I mean, it's solid runs. It's unreal. Brazil's going to be lit. And I hope the judges open their eyes. What? Who said that? Who said that? To the final. Another one. According to Instagram, a little controversial. Pretty little controversial. But Felipe's 2nd wave. Made me take my headphones off. Felipe's 2nd wave of the 9.57 was unbelievable. Dude was again in the air like Spider-Man. He was shooting Spider-Man webs, hanging in the air, board super glued to his feet, I think. I don't know. A 9.57? You only get 10? Come on. It's amazing. And then, but then Griffin, that's on the 4th wave, throws down a 9. And that was a solid run. The 9's not what coming into question. Not at all. And then Felipe's final wave, because he couldn't get back up afterwards, he just ran out of time. Throws down a 6.43, another solid run, gave him a total of 16 points and the lead. He's got the lead going in deep into the timer. He's got a total of 16. Griffin is sitting at 16 as well. We have a tie. 16 to 16. Looking for a surf off. But on wave 11, was it Griffin Colapinto comes out and throws down? It was a solid wave. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think Felipe's 6.43 wave that gave him his 2nd score was kind of snubbed a little bit. But Griffin's 8 on wave 11 was a solid run. Nailed a reverse. And then nailed another little deal at the end. giving him an 8 and giving him a total of 17 to take the dub, beating Felipe by 1. Again, not saying he didn't deserve an 8. 8, it was a good run. But the judges, I mean, I don't know. If you're going to give Felipe a 6.43 on that run, on his 7th wave, I don't think you give Griffin an 8 on that wave. I don't think that was fair. That's my personal opinion. Represent Griffin, San Clemente, California, USA. But hey, I'm here for the fairness, and I think Felipe got snubbed a little bit. But it doesn't take away that Griffin was very well deserving of being a champion, and so major props to him. And Brazil, like I said again, Brazil is going to be on and popping. So get ready for the. Oh gosh, dang it! I might say this wrong. The Rio Pro, June 23rd through the 30th, starting this week. They'll probably have calls immediately, to get the surf going. And it's going to be on and popping. It's going to be amazing. Cannot wait. You know Gabriel Medina and Felipe, even Italo Ferreira, and Jadson Andre are going to be wanting to throw it down for the homeland. And I think they will. I have no doubt about it. And in other sports, we had a few things go on. Not a whole lot. Erica Lang. Shout out to Erica Lang, though, in the trick slalom. She's got a pending world record holding right now. 11,420 points behind the ski nautique. So you can check her out on Instagram. Okay. Yeah, shout out Erica Lang. Pending world record. 11,420 points. Solid run. I didn't see who won the LA Night Jam. I know Lauren Morgan competed at it. And that was some long distance night jumping, which sounds a little sketchy to me. But they doing some sketchy shit over in Louisiana. But yeah, Lauren Morgan. I know she didn't win, because you hear the announcer at the end say, well, that's not going to be enough. But LA Night Jam, it looked badass. I mean, who doesn't want to see some night skiing? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. I mean, if it would have been Father's Day weekend, I'd have gone. That's probably the closest event I might get here in a hot minute to where I'm located. Unless they start throwing down some shit in Texas. It might be the hottest, the closest I get, and I missed it. But I will be at the World Surf League Finals in San Clemente, California in September. So y'all better get it on and popping. Already talked to a buddy out there. Got a place to stay. So it's going to be great. First stop of the Pro Wakeboard Tour was I believe happened this past weekend. But it wasn't aired. I don't think. I could be wrong. But check it out on Fuel TV. You can go to their website, and Monday, June 27th on Fuel TV at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then I want to say they're going to play it again at 6 and 7. You'll be able to watch the first stop of the Pro Wakeboard Tour on Fuel TV. So shout out to them for that. Also, if you're in the San Clemente area. I don't know how many people I got listening from San Clemente, but Murph Bikes Ping Pong Tournament. This was a post from USA Surfing. Murph Electric Bikes. If you hadn't seen one, go to Instagram, Murph Electric Bike. They're the absolute shit. It's a bicycle and it's electric. Get it? Yeah. They're awesome though. They're having a ping pong tournament. There's a 15 and under bracket, mini Murphs, and there's a 16 and over bracket, alpha Murphs. Ha! With some big prizes, big grand prizes. There'll be an In-N-Out burger truck set up, serving dinner from 5 to 7. And they're going to have beverages from some of their local favorite brands. Entry is free. Sign up for the tournament. It's from 3 to 4 on Saturday. This Saturday, the 18th. Oh, wait. Shit. Wait. I just did that whole thing. Hey. I lied. I read the wrong date. I thought it was the June 28th. That says 18th. Oh, man. Hey, that's my bad. Murph Electric Bikes, though, give them a shout out. Give them a follow on the gram, bro. Order you a bike. Sorry I missed that one. That was this past Saturday. Could have swore that said 28th. Man, really need to lay off of it. Really got to lay off of it lately. But that went down in San Clemente. I'd like to know who won and what the prize was. But I also would like a Murph Electric Bike. I zoom my ass around this little town. Put a little horn on it. You know what I mean? Woo! God, that'd be fun. But anyways, thanks for listening. Get ready for We Rio Pro, June 23rd through the 30th down in Brazil. You can watch live on worldsurfleague.com. It's gonna be amazing. Also, I cannot wait for the Wake Park Nationals presented by GM Marine at Elite Cable Park in Florida, August 4th through the 7th. Mark your calendars. It's gonna be a banger. Absolute banger. One last thing. The Malibu Boats Riders Experience. Earlville, Maryland. Get ready. July 16th and 17th. Go board behind one of your favorite boats. Test them out. Learn tricks from pros. Followed by Smithfield, Tennessee. Wakefest. That's actually an event. Wakefest, Tennessee. July 22nd through the 24th. So if you're out near Smithfield, Tennessee, July 22nd through the 24th, catch a banger. Anyways, my name's Austin. This is Boats and Snow, covering the extreme sports that we love, out on the water, in the ocean, at the lake, on the river, on the mountains, and wherever else you think you could snowboard. Down a hill in Austin when it snows and it's not supposed to. Appreciate the listen. Go find me on Instagram, Boats and Snow Pod. Find me on Twitter, Boats and Snow Pod. I think that's the name. And on YouTube, check me out. You can watch the whole video, not live, but you can watch the whole damn video. So, it's been real. And hold it down.
Powered by Riverside.